Namaste and welcome to Inspiring Women. Inspiring Women features inspiring thoughts, success stories, and interviews of women leaders from all over the world. We have with us Ms. Julia Cannon. She is the Managing Director of Ozark Mountain Publishing and Quantum Healing Hypnosis Academy. She is also the author of the book Soul Speak.
Can you tell us about your childhood and your early days, and what did you aspire to be back then?
My father was in the Navy, the military, and so we traveled a lot. And so I think that's where I continued that, just keep traveling. But from a very, very young age, I knew I wanted to be a nurse, a registered nurse. And first I wanted to be a nurse in the military because I wanted to keep doing that and travel all over the world. That didn't happen, but I did become a nurse. That was my dream and my aspiration.
Please tell us, what are your roles and responsibilities as a managing director of a company?
Responsibilities, that'd be easier to answer. I oversee everything that's done. It's a publishing company, and we have several lines of business actually within the one. We have a publishing company, we have a hypnosis academy, we have starting up a media production company. But it's basically just overseeing everything. I am hands-on a lot, but we're growing now, and I'm basically setting up other people to start managing those roles, and then I'll be overseeing them. The rules, the biggest rule is our standards and our ethics, keeping them high, and it's our motto and our mission is to disseminate truth.
You write a book, Soul Speak. Who inspired you write a book?
Who inspired me to write the book? My higher guidance. I don't know if you use a term here, my high self, my oversoul, that's who guided me. My mother teaches a technique in hypnosis, and I would help her with the classes. And during the classes, it came obvious that this information needed to be out there for the world. And so my higher self, because I can hear them, they were telling me, this is your book to write, you must write this book.
You have talked about going beyond time in your interviews. So what does that actually mean?
There is no such thing as time. That's a human construct that we did here on this plane. Actuality, there is no such thing. Once you enter into this other part of ourselves, everything is just now. And that's how they would like us to start approaching things and looking at things, is you just stay in the now. Don't worry about what happened before, and don't worry about what's coming up. You can plan for things, but you don't dwell on them. This is the part you dwell on, is right now. And that's where you're beyond time.
How did you find the purpose of your life?
When I was little, I knew I wanted to be a nurse. That was very clear, and it took me a long time to do that too. I like to take the long way to do things, I think. But then, after I'd done that for so long, then my guidance said, you've got to go and you've got to do this other now. You've got to go to Arkansas. And that's what they kept telling me.
Tell us something more about the work you've been doing, and how was the initial years?
The work I'm doing now, because right now it's all shifting. So why would you ask now? Because I've been running the publishing company, running the classes with my mother, and organizing all of that. And then I wrote my book in there and trying to find that time. What I'm doing now, like I said, is, and then now speaking, so that's new. It just keeps going off in all these different directions. Initially, I was brought by the universe, just shoved me and said, you have to be over here, and it was very simple. The company was very simple. I just had to pay attention to it. I just did it step by step by step, and that's my advice for anyone running to do a company, just pay attention. It will grow automatically if you just pay attention. Okay? And so I just watched, how do we get this out there? What do we do? What can we do better? Things like that. And it just started growing. And then it just kept growing and kept growing and kept growing. And now we're at a place where we need to completely shift. So I have a lot of people doing what I used to do.
Many people are stuck in their past and anxious about their future. What message would you like to convey for such people?
Anytime you're worrying, anytime you're stuck, anytime you're anything like that, you're not living in the now. If you're stressed about the future, See, you're trying to live in the future. You can't live in the future. If you're stuck in the past, well, you can't live in the past either. It's already been lived. So you can't do that. You have to stay right here in the now. And the best way to do that is, I mean, for people that love to worry, see, there's a lot of people that love to do that. And worrying is one of the best ways to get you stuck in either one of these places, past or future. So if you can just let those things go, and it's like, you know what, I'm just going to think about right now. What can I do right now? What can happen right here in this situation right now? Because that's all you have control over. That's it. We can't, the future will take care of itself. If you do enough right things right now, it'll all be fine. It'll go exactly the way you want to because you took care of it now.
How do you heal yourself and others?
Well, there's two things. I do energy work, and that's one way you can heal others. It's very direct. I can work with somebody right in front of me, or I can do it remotely. They don't have to be anywhere around. If anybody knows anything about energy, it's invisible, and it's not constricted by time and space. You can just think of the person and tap into them wherever they are, around the world, in another dimension, anywhere, because we're not constricted. How they heal themselves, and this is my favorite part, it's where I feel we are now. I feel like we need to empower people to realize that their illnesses are messages trying to be delivered from their high self, and they're just things that are just trying to tell them something. And so if they can understand that they made themselves sick for a reason, then they can make themselves healthy for a reason, because we need to understand why we do the things we do. And when we do that, we're empowered. And we can do anything. And that's, people need to understand, we can do anything.
Your mother seems to be the important part of your life. How has your mother been influencing and inspiring your life?
Good question, because my mother and I are very close. We're also very much alike, and we butt heads a lot. Okay? We're both strong-minded. I'm just recently starting to see the characteristics that have gotten her to where she is now, and that's what's inspiring me. She is very persistent, and she's stubborn. She just stays in there, and she's a true trailblazer. I watched what she did. All of it has just been inspirational because I know where she came from. She doesn't tell everybody what she's come through, but I know, and it's very inspiring.
What are the different challenges and rewards in your field?
One of the challenges is travel. While it's also a reward, I love doing it, I love meeting new people. It's challenging because it's very long flights. The body does not really like to fly in a metal tube. It preferred just flying. And I'm working on that. Okay? In general, I mean, that's to where I am right now. That would probably be it. I don't know if you want more in business or anything, but that's probably it in, the traveling and then the traveling.
How do the people in your country perceive your work, and what are the challenges apart from traveling that you go through?
In America, it's changing, but this metaphysical community, and that's probably what it's best called as a community, has been growing, and over time. 15 years ago, it was there, but it was just, it's really coming on the radar now. It's really been growing and growing, and so now it's something to be dealt with. People, and you can see the shift within the community itself, within the America. They don't necessarily know what's happening, but those in our realm, we can see what's happening. We can see the shift. People are all of a sudden acting differently. They're being more conscious about things. They don't always understand why people coming up with projects to be green and to help animals well, that's part of the shift. That's part of this new consciousness, to treat animals nicely and to treat our environment nicely. They just think, oh, this is just something that came up. No, this is part of the shift. Now, as far as so in general, how people take us, for the most part, okay. You just don't go to any people that are diehard, commercial, materialistic. They don't get it, okay? It's happening to them, but they don't understand what it is. So we're not out to go, this is what it is, we're just letting it happen. And so the challenges, it would be nice if you could just really broadcast in a huge way, but that's not what our world is about. This world of metaphysics is about being subtle, and it's just like a grassroots thing, and it comes up from underneath everybody, and all of a sudden they just find that they're changing and they just want to do things differently, don't know why, they're just kinder, they're just nicer. It's not anything we did, it's humanity as a whole is shifting in consciousness, and so everything is shifting.
What do you think is your greatest achievement, and what advice would you give to other women who want to be successful in their lives?
My greatest achievement thus far, because I feel like I'm just on my path and I'm accomplishing. I mean, every point we reach, we think, oh, I've done it now. But I know I have a long ways, I have a lot of years to go yet, if time existed. Okay? So I feel like we're always going toward our greatest opus, I guess, so to say. Thus far, it was a great achievement to become a nurse. It was hard, but I did it. It was a great achievement. I ran businesses. It was hard, but I did it. It was hard to leave nursing, but I did it. That was a great achievement, just to break away and see myself in another way, because I identified myself with nursing, and that was a complete cut. When that had to happen, I had to see myself in some other way. That was extremely hard, but I did it. Then started running the business. That's continual. I think we have yet to see what that one's going to do. And then the book. That was a huge accomplishment, because of my mother's footsteps that are here. People are always comparing me to her, and it's like she has 17 books, and it was like, but I did it. I've got it out, and I know I can do more if I'm asked to. And so it's like, I think it's just always another state. I don't think there's one thing. It's just what's asked of you, and do it. And that's my biggest message, is just don't ever give up. We can do anything, men, women, but I know this is especially for women. You have the power. It's just, women are, I don't want to get political. Women have a great power that they don't realize. And because we're very creative, very, very compassionate, very caring. Those are wonderful qualities to take into workplaces and work fields, and because they're creative processes. And so they take drive, compassion, imagination, and love. So if you take all that in and just believe in yourself, and like I said earlier, you follow your guidance. So if you get the compulsion to do something, do it. And if you don't do it and you get pushed to do it, then do it, because that is your highest guidance, and it's there for a reason, and then you will be on your path. You may not always understand what it is, but it's okay. Just do it.
We had an interesting and inspiring interaction with Ms. Julia Cannon. We will be back next week with a new episode. Thank you for being with us. Namaste.
Thank you so much for having me. I truly am honored to be here.